This family was erased from this world by a person, and nobody knows yet who did it. What is the truth behind the biggest police case in the history of Japan? 240,000 investigators from around the world have tried to solve it, but they haven't gotten any answers. On December 31st, 2000 in Tokyo, the 4 bodies of the Miyazawa family were found in their house. A man entered through the window to Rei's room, who was the youngest son, to get rid of him and his father, Mikio. Then, he finished the job by silencing Yasuko, Mikio's wife, and Niina, their daughter. The investigators have collected over 12,000 pieces of evidence up till today. That's why, although the person carried out his plan perfectly, everything pointed to the police catching him easily. It turns out that the man not only stayed a few hours more in his victim's house, but surprisingly, he scattered several of his clothes around the house before leaving. And he also left traces of saliva and fingerprints in the ice cream box that he shamelessly ate. He didn't even think about hiding his identity. He even went to the toilet before leaving and didn't flush it, leaving even more traces of his DNA. But even with all this evidence, the authorities have spent over 20 years without finding the culprit. There is a $140,000 bounty for whoever gives them true information about his whereabouts, and the investigation efforts are still ongoing. How is it possible that the culprit hasn't been caught? The man left clues scattered around the whole Miyazawa's house, but once the investigators tried to match the fingerprints found to ones in their system, there were no matches, nor were there with the DNA samples. That meant that the author didn't have records, and therefore, the group of suspects became practically immeasurable. It could be anyone. Nowadays, some details have been discovered, such as the suspect's ethnic group and his possible physical complexion, but those are the only certainties afloat in an ocean of doubts. Now, why did the culprit commit this horrible action? It was highly unlikely that it was a settling of scores, as the family was really loved in the area. It wasn't a robbery either, as the man chose a very unusual time to break into the house. Apart from the fact that he only took a little bit of money that was there and inexplicably got rid of all the important documents of the family. It could also be a serial killer due to the brutality with which he committed it. But, as we mentioned, according to the police records, the man allegedly never committed an action worthy of going to jail, and there's no way of identifying him just with the evidence. In other words, the mystery remains unsolved, and who knows how much longer it will remain like that. Remember, always demand to know more.